Well, my name is John H Fowler, and I'm a veteran from World War II. I was on the beach on D-Day. I was in there 56 minutes after HR, and as I go along, I'll tell you about that trip across the channel, which got interesting. And I was in with the 29th Infantry Division. I was in Company B of the 104th Medical Battalion, and that was attached to the 1st Battalion of the 116th Regiment with the 29th Infantry Division. And we were the ones that was the first Americans that hit the shores, the 1st and the 16th of the 1st Division, and that's where I came in right there. It was pretty hectic. I mean, there was a lot of stuff flying. Those 88s are terrible. And machine gun fire that was hitting the side of that LCI that I was on was terrible. I landed with the, there was 25 of us medics on this LCI, and there was 170 fellows that were, they were the engineers, and they were the ones that were to clear the beach for the infantry to come in. And of course, on our way in, we got tangled up on a sandbar, and that's why we were 56 minutes later. We were lucky to get loose from that, but this fellow that was the captain of that LCI was pretty good. He had us, all of us, all 200 of us, he said, we all go to that one side of the ship and hold on to that rail, and when I tell you to run, you run, and go as fast as you can to the other side, and when you turn around, run back. And he says, I think with this motion, and he says, I got one of my anchors anchored way back there, and I think we can get off of here. If we can't, fellas, that's a long swim from here. And so that's what happened. We did get loose. But in that operation, he then turned and went down the beach, and we went in right there next to the 1st Infantry Division. And I ran, I guess it was about 100 yards across open beach. Fortunately, we didn't. More of the hard with the bullets flying and stuff like that was up there closer to Verville, which was just about a quarter of a mile up the beach from where we come in. It was that was a morning you won't forget. The LCI up there on that sandbar, we were right close to the place they call Point de Hoc, and there were supposed to be big German guns up there they wanted to knock out, and the Rangers had that to do. And as I was standing on that deck waiting to run from one side to the other on that boat, I watched those guys put those ladders together that they went up the side of that cliff, which was Point de Hoc. And that was, oh boy, it was quite a deal. Those guys, they had rehearsed this so much, and there was a squadron of them that was down laying on the beach and had their guns shooting right across the top of the Point de Hoc, and these guys down here were putting this ladder together, which was made up in 10-foot sections. The first guy set his, and he went up, and he turned around on his side, picked up the next section, and put it on there, and he came on up, and that next guy, he come up the ladder, and that's how they built that thing. They had 100 feet to build, and they did it. And fortunately, these guys that were back there, that squadron, they had their guns and kept bullets flying across the top, and the Germans couldn't get close to the edge to stop us. They had that figured out, and it worked. But with me now, I was down there with the, when I came in, I had about 100 yards to go across, and I was carrying the stretcher, and I got in on the beach at, well, that was at about 56 minutes, and we was right there where, if anybody that sees this has been over there, they'll see where the 1st Division has set up a monument, and what that was is a pillbox that the Germans had put there. And I was right there when the 1st Division blew that open. And then there was a hill, it was maybe like this, and it looked like it was forever as far up as it went, but that's where we went up and got the fellas, and then those that could walk, we'd put them, one hand on the other shoulder and start back down that side, and we brought them down to the water's edge, and there was I called it a sand cliff, and it was pretty straight, and we laid these guys out right across the base of that to where they were protected somewhat from fire coming in. We did that, I guess it was about 3.5 hours. We didn't have any medical equipment to treat these guys, because in this mix-up, the ambulance that had all of our equipment on was up the beach more towards Saint de Hoc, or not. Anyway, I'm bad on names, but that thing got separated from us, and we didn't get that ambulance till the next day. But we had we worked it out that evening. There was a plane that came over, and all this time American fighters were on that beach all the time. Well, at 6 o'clock, they must have said it's supper time, and they all left. And no sooner than they left, here comes a German plane. And he came down the beach, and there was 4 of us on this litter, and we had this wounded fellow on it, and we were carrying him down to where we had these other guys, and here this guy comes down there and starts strafing. And I don't know, the good Lord must have been on my back, because the fellow behind me got hit, and the fellow that was next to me over here got hit, and this fellow over here got killed. And but these 2 guys were still able to manipulate. Well, I took the back of the stretcher, and those 2 guys took the front of the stretcher, and we went on down there. But about that time, when that plane got down about that, coming down the beach, every ship out there and there was a lot of them out there in that, in the sea, they spotted him too, and they all opened up. And you know, you've seen a lot of firecrackers on 1st of July, but you've never seen anything like this. I mean, there was, I don't know how if that guy, even if that plane got shot down, I don't know, because we were pretty busy. But then that night, there was a little clump of woods right next to uh, where we landed, and I dug a foxhole down, and I got it down deep enough to where I was covered, and I got in there, and I must have dozed, because the next thing I heard, was some guy said, "Hey, are you all right?" And I come up out of there. "Yeah, I'm fine." Well, I found out I was laying in water when the tide come in. It filled that ditch a little bit with water.